All right, guys, we're on to the lower fulcrum. This side's already done. The lower shock is already done. This is the one that takes the washer, which is the wider one when you look at it, right? So this bore is straight through, so it doesn't have a step in it. So what we're going to be able to do is take the seal out. So typical, like I always said, you know, if your seals are good and you want to keep them, just be careful when you get under them and try not to pry too hard, and they should come like that, right? And remember, like I showed you, these are pretty pliable, right? So they'll probably get reused later on. There's the washer I was talking about, the thrust washer. You can see that there's been a lot of dirt on this side, so probably not going to reuse that washer. Let's since it's straight through, we can basically take a socket that's about the same size as that. We're going to get it going by starting on something hard, like hard and flush, like that. Put that on top of it like that, and we're going to hit it with a hammer, and I'll show you how far we're going to get. All right, so what I did was I hit it with a hammer with the socket, like that, impact socket, pounded it until one of the bearings drove all the way through and it's up against the other bearing. So both bearings are up on one side. I'm going to take it, put it on top of something like this, put that up there, and I'm going to put that socket in there, and I'm going to pound it the rest of the way out. All right, so we pounded it straight through. See how it's got a smooth bore? Just kept hitting it, driving it all the way down until it went all the way through. In the bottom of there, both bearings. All right, same thing as last time. Same bolt I actually used for the swing arm. Bolt, washer, that keeps it flush. Put the needle bearing right there. These, you know, one washer right there that's bigger than the bearing. So when we tighten this, it's going to push all this stack down, squeeze it together, and the needle's going to end up flush with the inside down there. All right, flush, just like I said, right, guys? So now we're unscrewing it. Show you what we got going on here. Sorry, the air conditioner's on. It's 106 degrees here in Southern California today. Needle bearing is flush, right? Next thing that's going to go in will be one of those washers and then a seal on this side. So let me get the other bearing in it. It's going to be the exact same setup, right? All right, we have both bearings in, right? So we're going to pack them. I'm actually even going to pack in between the bearings. There's a void. See that space in there? I'm going to fill that space also with grease, so it'll be completely filled with grease. All right, I'll show you that right now. You guys remember how to, you know, pack bearings from some of my other, maybe you don't. So you get the grease, put it in, push against the needles, and you can hear it squeeze out, right? The grease, listen. Sorry, it didn't make the noise that time. But you just keep forcing grease into it, right? And we actually don't mind if we get grease up in this area, because when the washer goes in and we put in the other parts, it's going to be yes, you coming out? My daughter, who's learning how to ride dirt bikes and should be learning how to maintain them, right there, doesn't know about screen presence, but that's all right. Anyways, we've packed bearing. Don't turn on the dryer, please. We packed the bearing, we filled the center section. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. All right, so that's what it should look like when it's fully packed. I mean, it's just full of grease, right? We got to put our pin in. So we slide the pin in. It's going to try to come out and push grease out the other side, right? We're actually going to turn that pin around, because see how it's kind of dry still? I'm going to force it back in the other way. Kind of twist it while we go in there. I like to actually hold the hole, see what I mean? And I'm pushing the pin against it, and it forces the grease into all kinds of other spots that it wasn't in before. Now I'm going to take this remaining grease and fill all those areas right there, right? All those areas right there are now full of grease, right? There's a reason to do that, and I'll show you that right now. Well, hold on. Next thing we're going to do is put the seals in, right? Lip goes inside on these. So lip to the inside. Did I put both my washers in? No, I didn't. This one gets washers first. One washer there. One washer on the other side. Okay, don't forget the washers, right? The other one, that one, no washers. All right, so we get the washers in there. Everything's kind of squeezed in. Grease is coming out everywhere, right? All right, we take the seal. We can put that in with our fingers, just like last time. Forcing it in, right? Now it's pushing out grease everywhere. You can hear it forcing the grease out. All right. Let me clean it up, do the other side, and I'll get back to you in a second. All right, here's where we are. Both seals are flush. There is no room for anything but grease in there, right? So now we take our inner seal race. We push it on there. When we push this in there, it has a cavity like that lines up with this steel sleeve, right? So when the two come together and the seal's in there and it's full of that much grease, there's literally no way for water. Well, there is ways for water to get in there, but you can hear it as I'm squeezing it. Maybe not, but you can see it pushing even more grease out. So as we push all that grease out, it displaces where water could go and get in there and stay there, right? So that's how you pack it. It adds a little more weight to your bike, but you know, we're not building complete race bikes. If we were, we wouldn't be putting that much grease in them anyway, right? Because we'd be taking them apart and maintaining them after every race. But there you go, for guys that, you know, ride like regular people. That's your Fulcrum. I'm not gonna do the link. I did repack it, like I said. I'm gonna put new seals in it. I'm going to pack it just like that and then clean it up. And well, there's the other one, has the, you know, red grease from last time. But that's the plan. There you go. That's how it gets assembled. If I can think of a tip for installing this stuff before I put the shock in, then we'll do a video that covers that too. But that's basically your Moose kit installed, and some Honda stuff. You know, let me get back on this. One of the things about this one is, these ones, the bore is straight through, and we were able to just drive it through. If you hit this one and try to drive it through, you might be able to see inside there, there you go, there's a step that allows these bearings to only go in so deep, right? So that's the difference. So this one's a lot more difficult. You got to come up with a way to get those out. I'm not doing it in this video because I'm saving those bearings, so not sure what to tell you guys on that one yet. But if I do one in the future, we'll definitely put something together. All right, like, dislike, subscribe, leave some comments, tell your friends, whatever, and maybe I'll see you guys out riding.